Hello students, my name is Bhavna Singh. I am working as an assistant professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. This is an online tutorial series of database management system. So let's get started. Students, in the previous session we have discussed some topics of Unit 3 like encryption and database security and various techniques of database security. Now in this lecture we will continue with Unit 3 and these are the topics that we will discuss in today's lecture. That is, what is a firewall, what are the various types of firewall, how database is recovered in case of failure, and what are the various techniques of database recovery. Now we will discuss our first topic of today's lecture, that is, what is a firewall. A firewall is a software program or hardware device that filters the inbound and outbound traffic between user network or computer and the internet. It is a barrier between local area network and the internet, and it also keeps the private resources confidential and minimizes the security risk. That means this firewall is a kind of wall, you can say, which is between the internet and your own computer and your personal computers, and the work of firewall is to monitor and control all the incoming as well as the outgoing network traffic, so that security will be maintained and all the resources on your personal computer as well as all the resources on the network, they become secure and they are protected from the unauthorized access to the network. So in that case you can say that it is filtering whatever is incoming from the internet to our computer, and whatever is outgoing from our computer to the internet, everything goes through this firewall, and it is filtering all the contents that is we are transmitting between the internet and the computer. So it is acting like a barrier, or it is acting like a wall between the local area network and the internet. As you can see in the figure also, that this firewall is acting like a wall between the local area network and the WAN, that is wide area network. This wide area network is a global network that is also known as the internet, and local area network is also known as your computer or your personal computers. So we will discuss now how does this firewall, it provides protection to the incoming as well as the outgoing packets. This firewall can help the user in protecting the data and computer by blocking traffic from known malicious computers, attacks on the computer and attempts to access data, and malware coming into users computer or network. That means how does it protect? It protects by incoming by blocking all the traffic, like if there is a suspect that some virus is downloaded from the internet, or some traffic from malicious computer that is containing a virus is coming into our computer, or some virus is going from computer to the internet, so it blocks all these stuffs or all these contents like a barrier. And as you can see in this figure also, that this firewall is acting like a barrier, or it is establishing a barrier between this trusted internal network as well as untrusted external network like internet, and it is monitoring every traffic that is exchanged between all these networks like the internal network and the external network. And these firewalls, they can either be a software or a hardware. A software firewall is a program that is installed on each computer, and it regulates all the traffic through the port numbers or applications, while if we talk about the physical firewall, then it is a piece of equipment, you can say, which is installed between your network and the gateway. So in case of firewalls, these can be installed either in the form of a software or in the form of a hardware. This firewall, it is categorized into four different types. Like the first one is packet filtering, then the second is circuit level gateways, third one is application level gateways, and the fourth one is stateful multi-layer inspection firewall. Now we will discuss each one of them in detail one by one. So let's first consider packet filtering. All these types of firewalls, they work on the different layers of the OSI model. Like this packet filtering firewall, it is the most common type of firewall, and it works at the network layer of the OSI model. What happens in this firewall? It examines all the packets that are coming from the internet or going to the internet, and it prohibit them from passing through if they don't match an established security rules that was predetermined. And this type of firewall, it checks all the packet source and destination IP addresses, and if those packets they match those of an allowed rule on the firewall, then it is trusted to enter the network. Otherwise, it stops them from forwarding them. So all these forwarding or dropping the packet or sending it to the originator, it also depends upon the comparison of the packet and the set of criteria that we have predetermined. Then the second type is the circuit level gateways. Circuit level gateways, it works at the session layer of the OSI model. And what happens in the session layer that there is a handshaking between the source and the destination. We also known as it as a TCP handshaking. What happens in that, there is a circuit is maintained between the source and the destination, so that the source can send the packets or send the messages to the receiver. And whenever this firewall is occurring at that circuit level, so what it does, it monitors all the TCP handshaking between these packets to determine that whether the requested session is legal or not. So in that case, it is monitoring the entire circuit that is maintained between the source and the destination. Then the third, we have the application level gateways. Application level gateways, it works at the application level of the OSI model, and in this it is used to detect that whether any unwanted application or any unwanted service or any illegal service is attempting to pass through these firewalls using some additional protocols or which are not allowed. And it is also used to find out that whether the protocol is being abused in any way. So all these services, all these applications, they are monitored with the help of these application level firewalls. And the final type, we have the stateful multi-layer inspection firewall. That means this firewall, it is a combination of all the previous firewalls that we have discussed, like packet filtering, circuit level, application level. And what is the purpose of this stateful multi-layer? That it is present at the multiple layers of the OSI model, and they filter packets at the network layer, then determine whether the session packets are legal or not, and then after that at the application level, that evaluates the contents of the packets at the application layer. So it is performing a multiple you can say a multiple task, you can say it is performing. So like this, at each and every layer of the OSI model, whether when the communication is taking place between the sender and the receiver, or between the internet and the computer or LAN, these firewalls, they filter all these traffics, like they filter packets, they monitor the circuits, they filter the content or services. So all these protection, they are provided by the firewall at each and every layer of the OSI model. Now we will discuss the next topic for today's lecture, that is what is a database recovery. Recovery is a process of restoring the database to the most recent consistent state that existed prior to the occurrence of failure in the transaction. That means whenever some database transaction is failed, or some failure occurs, or some transaction is not successfully committed, then in that case what happens, this database recovery, it helps us to restore the database to the most recent state in that the transaction was previous, or you can say prior to the failure. So it will help us to recover the data or restore the data that existed before the failure occurs. So because of this database recovery, we will be able to recover our data, or we will be able to back up our data from the most consistent state. Now it happens in two ways. That means in case of soft failures that result in inconsistency of database, recovery strategies includes transaction undo or rollback. That means if there is a soft failure occurs, like there is some inconsistency of database due to the replication of data or redundancy of data, then in that case the recovery strategies, they provide the rollback statements or undo transactions, so that we'll be able to recover to the most consistent state of the transaction before the failure occurs. But in case of hard failure that result in extensive damage to database, these recovery strategies, they provide the database from the archival backup, so that we'll be able to recover, or we'll be able to restore the database. and in that severe case we have to redo all the operations of the committed transaction again and again from the transaction log, so that we'll be able to recover all the data from the archive. So this is how the entire recovery takes place. Now we will discuss the various types of failure due to which we need to recover the data from the database. The first one is the system crash. System crash may be the problems like interruption in power supply or the failure of some hardware or software devices. So all these things or all these failure, they can cause the system to stop functioning properly, or to they cause the system to crash. So all these are the problems that require the database to recover data. Then the next we have, in case of a disk failure, like unreachability of the disk or the disk head crash or any other failure related to the disk, then in that case it destroys all or part of the disk storage, and due to which we are not able to recover the data or will not able to function properly. Then the next we have, in case of logical errors. Logical errors means the transaction cannot complete or cannot successfully commit because it has some code error or it has some internal error conditions. So in that case also the transaction needs to be redone. Then we have the, in case of natural disaster, natural disaster like earthquakes or floods or theft. So all these are the disaster that can cause the failure to the database, and in that case, like in all these conditions like system crash, disk failure, logical errors and natural disaster, we need to recover all the data from the database, because all these failures, they lead to the incompletion of the transaction, or you can say the successful completion of the transaction, and ultimately they leads to the failure of the transaction. So in that case we need to recover all the data. Now these are some basic mechanism, you can say, which help us to provide the recovery of the database. The first one is the backup mechanism. Backup mechanism, it makes the periodic backup copies of the entire data which is stored in the database, so that in case of failure we'll be able to get the copy of the database from this backup. Then the next we have the logging concept. Logging concept means it keeps all the track of the current state of the transaction, and whatever changes that are made into the database, it keeps all the records of that particular changes and that particular transactions. Then we have the checkpointing mechanism. Checkpointing mechanism, it enables the update that is to be made permanent. So it makes all the updates enabled, so that we'll be able to recover in case of a failure. So let us discuss all these recovery techniques one by one. The first one is the checkpoints. In case of system failure, we check the logs to determine which of the transactions need to be redone and those which needs to be undone. When a system issues a checkpoint, the following operations are performed. First, all log information from the buffers in the main memory is copied to log on the stable storage. Second, all database updates from the buffers are written to the disk. And third, a checkpoint record is written to log on the disk, so subsequent database recovery could be coordinated with the checkpoint. That means in case a system failure occurs, or in case a transaction failure occurs, with the help of these checkpoints we will be able to determine that which transactions we need to done again or which transactions we need to undone. And this checkpointing mechanism, it provides a checkpoint at between several transactions, like after 100 transaction one checkpoint is there, after 200 transaction one checkpoint is there. So when this checkpoint mechanism, it helps to determine that when the transaction was or you can say the transaction failure was occur last time, and all the log is maintained in order to keep all these checkpoint in that particular log, to keep the record of all these transactions, that whatever transaction has done completed or successfully, or whatever transactions are committed not successfully. And with the help of these checkpoints only, we will be able to do the subsequent database recovery with the help of these checkpoints and with the coordination with all these checkpoints. And all these updates are maintained on the disk, so that we'll be able to maintain the complete log on these stable storage devices. Now comes the second technique, that is log based recovery. In this method, a log is kept on stable storage and consists of series of log records. The log will record the sequence of database operations and can be used to replay the database actions after a failure. And the recovery managers, they uses this log to restore data items to their consistent state. That means whenever we are doing or whenever we are dealing with these transactions, we maintain a log. A log is basically a record, you can say, and this record is maintained so that we will be able to write down all the, or we will be able to maintain all the records about the database operations that are occurring frequently or that are occurring in sequence, and whenever a transaction failure occurs, so that we will be able to identify the operations and we will be able to restore the data items to their consistent state. So this technology or this technique is used by mostly the recovery manager, and they uses the log or they uses the records, so that whatever operations are doing or done on the database, all these operations, they are written down on the log itself. And in case of transaction failure, with the help of this log only, with the help of this record only, this recovery manager, they will be able to restore the data items to their consistent state. So let us understand this concept of log based recovery with the help of this example. Suppose there is a transaction to modify the address of a student. Now let us see what logs are written for this transaction. As soon as transaction is initiated, it writes start log. For example, if we have a database of a student, and in that database we have a record of 50 students, and in that database we want to modify the address of one student. So how we will able to write the logs for this modification or for this updation? So whenever the transaction is initiated, that means whenever the transaction is start to modifying the address, then first of all it writes as tn start, that means transaction is started or transaction is initiated. Then the second comes, when the transaction modifies the address from Delhi to Mumbai, another log is written to the file. As you can see in this also, that whenever the transaction is initiated, the log is maintained as tn start, that means the transaction has started. And then we start modifying the address from Delhi to Mumbai, that means we have modified the address of that particular student. Previously it was written as Delhi, now we are modifying it to Mumbai. So we will maintain a log like this: tn address, previous record, that is Delhi, and after updation, that is Mumbai. So this is how the entire log is maintained, and we are writing each and every step after each and every transaction. And what happens finally, that when the transaction is completed, it writes another log to indicate end of the transaction. That is when we have successfully modified the address of that particular student from Delhi to Mumbai, then the transaction is completed or it is committed, and we maintain or we write another log to describe it, that is tn commit. Tn commit means that the transaction is successfully committed. So this is how we maintain the entire log whenever we do some transaction in the database. When the transaction is initiated, we write the start, and whenever it is successfully completed, we write commit. Now this log based recovery, it is categorized into two types. The first one is deferred update and the second one is immediate update. Now we will discuss each one of them one by one. First of all, let's talk about deferred update. Deferred update means that whenever any transaction or whenever any recovery is taking place, or whenever there is an update to a database, so we will postpone this update until the transaction completes successfully and reaches a commit point. Till then we will not update that particular updation or that particular transaction in the main memory. We will update it in the database only, and we will postpone it until the transaction completes successfully. This is known as deferred. Deferred means postponed. Then the second, we have immediate update. In this technique, when a transaction issues an update command, the database can be updated immediately without any need to wait for the transaction to reach its commit point, and the transaction, whenever the transaction is completed or whatever things are doing or whatever things are done, they are automatically updated in the databases immediately without any delay. So in case of immediate update, we are updating the database immediately, but in case of deferred update, we are postponing the update to the database until the successful completion of the transaction. So you can also understand this by that deferred means postponed or delay, and immediate means doing immediately or updating immediately. Now let us discuss the important questions based on today's session. The first one is, explain how database is recovered after failure of transaction. In this you have to explain what is recovery and how various recovery techniques help us in case of a transaction failure. Like in this you have to explain the backup mechanism and the checkpointing mechanism as well as the log based recovery mechanism. And this is one of the most important question of this unit 3rd. Then the second we have, what is a firewall, what are its various types. In this you have to explain what is a firewall, how does it protect the traffic between the internet and the LAN, and what are its various types, like packet filtering, circuit level, gateways, stateful, application level. All these types we have already discussed in today's session. So these are the important questions that you should prepare on according to the examination point of view also. So it was all about today. We are ending this session here only. I hope you have understood all the concepts of recovery and firewall well. And in the next session, we will continue with the distributed database and its various components and features. Till then, you all take care of yourselves and keep learning. Thank you so much for watching.